Hey guys, welcome to the low impact version of Skipfusion Aero. I'm obviously going to focus on this one today. Michelle's going to do the higher impact option. So let's get cracking. I'm going to start with your double bounce as a foundation. Just nice and steady. Getting the body ready to work. So important with your warm up not to go too crazy. Just want to warm yourself up progressively. And obviously your double bounce is really the foundation for all the lower impact Skipfusion exercises. Just nice and steady. Nice and relaxed. Okay, so just keep hold of your rope, just swap it to an alternate knee, bringing your knee up to 90 degrees. If you notice, guys, on my supporting knee, don't tend to lock it. It's really important because you don't want to jar your knee, especially when you're warming up. Your joints need to secrete synovial fluid. That's kind of what prepares your muscles and your joints for the work that you're about to do. Nice and steady. Double knee. So again, guys, if you've got this far, you're doing well, and you're probably ready to make the transition to the 45-minute masterclass. So hopefully, if you've stayed with us thus far, we've demonstrated to you that with a bit of commitment and determination and practice, we can take you from being a complete beginner to demonstrating very similar to what myself and Michelle did in the masterclass on the website. So from here, just take it to a hamstring curl. Just flicking your heel back towards your bottom. And then when you're ready, add your cross on your shoulder. Starting to push that heart rate up a little bit higher. Breathe in. Got my water close by to me. So as usual, same advice applies, just take some when you feel like it, but don't take too much water on board. So look out for Michelle's video. It's a bit more energy involved with that one. Okay, so back to the double bounce. So I think one of the big advantages of Skipfusion, it doesn't really matter what your background is or what sport you do, because Skipfusion is so versatile. Not only does it hold your attention, because there are so many different jump rope skills and unlimited exercises, depending on the style that you choose to follow. But the point is, it's going to cross different energy systems that you use within exercise, and it's going to move you forward, it's going to make you better, it's going to make you fitter, and hopefully it's also going to make you more determined. So if you put your rope down, guys, I'm going to take it to a ski jump with my double bounce, just side to side. It's always good to have the rope because it just makes sure that you are lifting your feet, and also it means that if you go slightly wrong, you're going to trip on the rope. So it's a good foundation step. Try and keep your feet together and your knees together, suck in your tummy, bring your shoulders back. Starting to warm up nicely. I think the key really is try and make the movements small and controlled rather than large and erratic. Okay, so jog it off. If you pick up your rope, guys, going to switch it to the bell jump. Similar to the ski, apart from it's a forward and backward movement. Very controlled. And so because you're using the double bounce as your principal movement, it means it gives you a little bit more time, which allows you to really get the fine motor skill part of the movement down. Because you'll see a lot of people, they're impatient. And so what happens is they just end up tripping on the rope because ultimately they're trying to run before they can walk. It's really good just to start from the double bounce and become a master at each skill before you move on. Okay guys, rope down for me. Just going to switch it to a half jack, just side to side. Push the heel of your foot down. See a lot of people that come up onto their toes. Not a major drama if you do, but push your heel of your foot down. Same arm, same leg. Suck in your core. Nice movement. 30 seconds. All the movements very controlled, with purpose. Okay guys, if you grab your rope for me, I want you to switch it to an alternate knee, which is what we did in the beginning part of the warm-up. But this time I'd like you to try and use the rope, bringing that knee up to 90 degrees, still using a double bounce. I think because you're switching from doing upper body to lower body to different cognitive movements, it means time flies by, which is good because it's distracting, which kind of makes it fun. Can't ever say that Skipfusion is boring, that's for sure. Okay, so rope down for me. I'm going to go into the wobbler. So bearing in mind I'm doing lower impact, I don't tend to load myself quite so much, and I certainly don't have the pace that you would necessarily associate with high impact wobbler. The idea really is just to facilitate you in terms of your fitness where you are now, so that we can take you up to the next level, which is the video that Michelle releases next. Having said that, you do have to try and make sure you push a bit, otherwise you're not going to be able to get onto the next level anyhow. It's just 15 seconds to go, keeping that heart rate ticking over. Okay guys, if you grab your rope, you're going to take it to staggered scissors. Obviously without this rope, it would be called spotty dog. Good old aerobic-y move from my exercise to music aerobic days. So you're just alternating your legs, meeting in the middle. Really important to put across to you. I mean, if you're doing the 30-minute videos, you obviously feel that you're ready to push it a bit. However, if you feel sick or dizzy, I want you to stop, Either go back to the beginning, or equally, if it carries on, I'd like to go see your GP or your doctor. So just jog it off on the spot, and from here, we're just going to do knees to elbows, opposite elbow, opposite knee. Yeah, I mean, you can feel a bit sick or a bit dizzy, especially if you haven't had enough fuel, maybe before you've done a workout. So classically, people wouldn't eat necessarily anything during the day or not enough. Then they'll go do a hard workout of something that they're not used to. And what happens is your blood sugar drops. You start to feel a bit sick, a bit dizzy. That's due to lack of nutrition, hypoglycemia. That's different to what I'm talking about, which is more that there's something physically potentially wrong. So make sure you know your key variables, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, those kind of things. Because although exercise is good for bringing down those variables, it's important to take ownership of your health and make sure you're doing the right type of exercises. So you can see here I'm doing the double heel tap. 1, 2. Let's try that again. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Funny enough, doing some of the low impact options are trickier for me than doing the higher impact ones. I'm so used to doing high impact, but I have to kind of really concentrate. So it's actually it's really good to revisit the skills and see if you can do low and high impact as well. Okay guys, switch it to a box step. So here, box step because it's a square. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter if you decide you want to lead with the other leg. Doesn't really matter. Side on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at my knees. They're bent. Use your arms. If you're using your arms, burning more calories. That's why jump rope, you burn more calories relative to cycling or probably even the cross trainer, because you're using your arms and your legs. That's why also for cross trainer, you probably burn more calories than just sitting on a bike. Now doing the double bounce that I'm doing here with the jump rope skills, I'm obviously not going to burn as much than the single bounce, but nothing competes with the single bounce. Okay, so jog it off. From here, grab your rope again. And I want you to switch it to boxer step or boxer skip. Just switching your body weight. Sorry, I was doing double impact there, or I was doing high impact. So it's just there, just alternating. It's quite satisfying when you nail the skill. And that's all it is. It's like anything. It's like applying yourself to study, isn't it? You have to apply yourself and consistently do it to make sure that you put it in the memory bank. I've got clients who I work with now who've got Parkinson's disease who can do Skipfusion, and I've actually got a lot from it because it is working on their coordination. So from here, guys, just stand side on, just do your jab. Not worry. This is, by the way, good point to say, this is not the Skipfusion box side, so don't worry too much about technique. It's called Skipfusion Aero because it's an aerobic component. So just still with your hopping forwards and backwards with your double bounce. And then switch sides for me, exactly the same. Just try and keep your hands up, because of course even with your hands up, you're working your upper body. Just focus on moving. So we're almost coming up to halfway already. So it does fly by. And if you find that you can't keep up at the level that I'm working at, I'd like you to take it back to the 20-minute sessions, because it just means that you're not ready yet. Okay guys, side swing, okay? Get your rope going, side to side. On the third one, jump through the rope. There. Low impact. There. So it's a figure of 8 with a rope, with a jump in between. Nice and controlled. Notice if you look at my hands and my wrists, they're together. Open the rope nice and wide to create the space to jump through the center of the rope. Very controlled. One of my favorite jump rope skills. But notice how I'm keeping my legs moving all the time as well. Okay, so rope down, switch it to the donkey, so knee, flick your heel back. Notice that when I do this, guys, I don't allow my torso to dip forward. You see a lot of people doing that. It's not right. You've got to try and keep your shoulders back, keep your core engaged. Notice how I bring my knee up to 90 degrees, just nice and steady. Knee, hamstring curl, knee. Tell you what I'm going to do. Just going to switch across to the other leg, knee, hamstring curl. So if you haven't had a sip of water, probably not a bad idea to think about taking one. I'm well hydrated, so I feel okay at the moment, but do make sure that you do take a sip of something. Don't wait until the end of the workout unless you're used to exercise. Okay, pick up your rope. So we're going to switch it to the ski jump. Remember, that's we go side to side. Obviously, we're using a double bounce. So side to side. Keep the movement small, feet together. So, why is jump rope so effective? It does work a lot of muscle groups. So if we work from your feet upwards, your calf muscles in particular, they're your real big workhorses in jump rope. Hamstrings, quads, glutes, your bottom, and of course your shoulders as well come into play as well. And that's why you ultimately end up burning so many calories doing jump rope relative to other forms of activity. Okay, so we're going to do the bell without the rope. Still use your double bounce. 1, 2. So I remember, I've said this before, but you know, I'm quite prone, or was quite prone in my early 20s to picking up a niggly right knee. That's because I'm missing a cruciate ligament in my knee from lots of judo in the past. And I found that sometimes running would aggravate that. But the one thing that actually made it stronger, and the one activity that I was able to carry on with doing whilst I was injured, was jump rope. So, yeah, great rehabilitation exercise, helps with balance, coordination. Okay, so from here, guys, I showed you the half jack earlier without the jump rope. Now we're going to do the double bounce with the jump rope. Nice and steady. Not taking my legs out too wide. Notice that when I execute the skills, I tend to look straight ahead. I'm not looking down at my feet. That does happen when you're a beginner. When you're a bit more experienced and you're confident in your ability, just look straight ahead. Listen to the sound of the rope hitting the floor in order to establish the timing that you should jump over the rope. It's all about sound. Okay, so we're going to take it back to the beginning, but do you remember how we did an alternate knee? This time, we're going to do a double knee, but on a double bounce. 1 and 2. Notice how I nail the 90 degrees, suck my tummy in, shoulders are back. About another 30 seconds to go. So even though I'm doing the lower impact option, you can see it's still a nice aerobic workout. You can probably see I'm sweating. And you might find that just even if you've had a hard session of whatever exercise you normally do, you can do this as just a good alternative mix to the status quo. Okay, so if you grab your rope, we're just going to do a heel tap, just a single one this time because we've already done the double. Heel, there. Fifteen seconds to go, guys. So if you're at this point and you think, this is easy, what I'd say to you is try Michelle's workout next and see how you get on doing that. Okay, so we're going to take it to spotty dog. I'm going to do a double one. Just double hop. Simultaneous, I change my legs mid-air. There. So spotty dog and scissors, or staggered scissors when we call it with the jump rope skill. It's the same movement, it's just one's with the jump rope, or one is without. Spotty dog. Don't ask me why it's called spotty dog, I don't know. Try and make sure your feet are parallel, they point the same direction. Don't want to kind of jar your ankle or jar your knee. Good, so we're doing well. Up to about 23 minutes now. So what I'd like to do, let's take it back to a double bounce, your basic foundation. Sucking in the oxygen. Happens from time to time. Let's try again. When your hands start to sweat and you're not holding the grip properly, that tends to happen. It's also worth noting, experiment with the type of jump rope you use. We're obviously affiliated with 𝐉𝐻𝐈𝐍, so we tend to use the 𝐉𝐻𝐈𝐍 ropes. But yeah, experiment with them and find what works best for you. The key is to make sure to get one that clears your head comfortably. Okay, so there's your spotty dog. And then what I want you to do now, without the rope, do the double bounce. Why is it called a double bounce? Because you have two little bounces. 1, 2. 1, 2. Just 10 more seconds of this one. So just kind of starting to calm it down. Done a good 25 minutes worth of work here. Okay, Turn your foot inwards, just touching the heel of your foot or the sole of your foot. Just make sure you turn your foot inwards. Nice and steady. More seconds. And then the last one, guys, let's just finish with a double bounce. Just slow it down. And then we'll start to think about cool down and stretches. So you might find that you have to do the low impact 20 or 30 minute masterclasses that myself and Michelle do several times before you step it up to one of our high impact ones, because there is quite a big difference, not just in terms of the skill, doing it on a single bounce, but the intensity, it's markedly different. Okay guys, well done, that's good. So let's start with some upper body stretches. Just march off for me. Just kind of keep on the move. Let your circulatory system flush through your body. Interlink your fingers. Reach up towards the ceiling. Kill two birds with a stone. Keeping your legs moving at the same time. Take a few deep breaths for me. And then what I want you to do is just gradually hold the legs still. Switch it. Imagine you're hugging a big ball, a big beach ball. Extend out in front. Remember guys, at least 45 seconds to a minute. Most people don't stretch for anywhere near long enough. They skip the stretching routine, and it's a mistake because all the muscles that you've worked, within the muscles you've got your muscle fibers. You've just fired them because you've used them. Now you've got to return them back to resting length. Now the only way you can do that is by stretching and also through time. But let's make it simple. Stretching is important. Realign the muscle fibers, return them back to resting length, and then you're good to go. Where people get into trouble, and one of the main reasons they get injured, is when they don't do the stretching. Those muscle fibers build and build and build. They get damaged, they snap, you build knots. Inevitably injury comes then as well because you'll pop a muscle. And so that's why stretching is important, okay? Stretch your quad muscles, knee together, heel towards your bottom. So Michelle's video is next. High impact, 30 minutes. So if you found that a doddle, follow Michelle for the harder version. But like I said, make sure you master the skills. Make sure you're comfortable with the exercises. All the masterclasses that we've done, the 10, the 20 and the 30-minute videos, go through the content of the main masterclass, which is on the website. So yeah, it's up to you now, guys. Go through the exercises, go through the different classes. If you've nailed them, you're ready to have a go at the high impact or the longer class, the masterclass, okay? There's nothing stopping you from doing the lower impact across all levels before you then ideally go through the higher impact on the single bounce on all of the videos leading up to the masterclass. So yeah, don't take the easy option. Well done guys, try Michelle's class 30 minutes, high impact aero. This one was low impact.